Minimum wage is all we need to pay them. Minimum wage, 20 hours a week. Most of them will settle for 10 if we don't have enough money for the 20, which is fine with me. But they need to be spending some of their school hours out getting professional experience, exploring the careers that they want to invest their time in once they get to college. We talk about high school dropout, but one of the biggest reasons why our high school children are dropping out is because they really don't have a reason to stay in. We have disconnected high school education from college education, from subsequent life success. When you hook children up with employment and with jobs, when they get to experience the professional world before they graduate, they're automatically more motivated to stay in school. We also need to establish with our local universities effective pre-college programs. Every last one of our freshmen, every last one of our sophomores, every last one of our juniors, and every last one of our seniors, every single one. It shouldn't be optional. It should be required. Every high school student must participate in a pre-college program with one of the Florida colleges, universities, or community colleges. At least 5 hours a month, they should be on college campus. At least 5 hours a month, they should be getting some sort of direct interaction with the college environment. College students in the form of mentors, a college course, weekend college experiential activities. But if we want them to stay in high school, we have to show them why they need to stay in high school. And there's no better motivator than to have them linked up with our universities. Are we doing that? What I'm finding is that only our high achieving children, our gifted children, our scholars, I'm finding that only those who are in the advanced academic programs are being given the opportunity to explore college. That is absolutely wrong. Who needs to explore college more than the at-risk child who's likely to be dropping out, who's failing out of class? Who needs it more? The child with all A's and B's, they're going to college regardless. They're already motivated. The children who really, really need the motivation that comes from a pre-college experience are those who appear least likely to go to college. All of our children should be in pre-college programs. All of our children should have after-school and summer jobs, and they should have an internship class in high school where they talk about their work experience, talk about different careers, where they're expected to investigate what it is they want to study and to make sure that they are prepared for college when the time comes. Also, industrial education. We are sending children to college who don't want to go, don't need to go, and might not be successful if they went because they're not being adequately prepared by our teachers. What we need to do is make sure the industrial programs are put back into the high school. There's nothing wrong with being a carpenter. There's nothing wrong with being a plumber. There's nothing wrong with being an electrician. There's nothing wrong with being a builder. There's nothing wrong with being an auto mechanic. There's nothing wrong with being a heating, cooling, and air conditioning expert. There's nothing wrong with being a computer networker. There's nothing wrong with being a chef. There's dozens of trade programs out there that earn lucrative salaries. But our children, because of a lack of resources on our part, are being told that they all have to go to college when you and I, we all know that many of them are going to go and they're not going to make it because they don't have the discipline to make it. And many of them simply don't want to be doctors. They don't want to be lawyers, psychologists, educators, engineers, but they do want to be something. So why not send them to trade school? Why not bring the trades back into our high schools, which allow our young men and women to earn the minimum amount of state-required hours necessary in training so they can sit for the state board in their particular trade at the conclusion of high school? Wouldn't it be beautiful if we could send students right into the workforce from high school? Wouldn't it be beautiful if students could apply for small business loans from our local banks and go into business for themselves because they've already been certified by the state upon graduating from high school? Wouldn't it be beautiful to have some of our students who graduate come right back to the school district and work as instructors in the same programs where they were instructed? By doing this, we're keeping children from becoming delinquent. By doing this, we're cutting the mass incarceration of black and brown men. By doing this, we're preventing college dropout. By doing this, we're promoting employment. We recycle our own children and they come back and work for us in the industrial programs. We have to bring them back. Every high school, and if every high school shouldn't, at least in every district, the children should have the opportunity to earn an industrial education. Why do they have to choose between college and trade school? Why can't they get both? Why can't you be experienced in a particular academic discipline like law or medicine and at the same time get an education in an industrial trade like plumbing or electricity? I went to a military high school, and at that military high school, we got both. I was in a barbering program where I was taught how to cut hair. I didn't earn my barbering license, unfortunately, because I was told by the professors there who thought they were giving me the right advice, although it was wrong, that I should leave the barbering program and go into physics and chemistry because I was college bound. They failed to realize that as a psychology major, I wasn't required to take a single chemistry or biology course in college. I should have stayed in the barbering program, got my license. In addition to being a psychologist now, I would probably have several barbershops where I could teach the trade and, again, keep a lot of young men off the streets and involved in their lives. So we need both. And yes, barbering should be one of those trades that we bring into the school. It is a respectable profession along with the other ones. These are some of the things that we need to do. In conclusion, what I would like to say is this. We're losing our children, especially the black and brown boys. And we're losing them because I'm not sure if we care enough to save them. We're not losing them because we don't have enough money. We're not losing them because we don't have necessarily the right personnel. We're losing them because we're not really investing in our children. This new economic approach to education, where we view education through the same lens that a corporate CEO views his business, I don't agree with it, and I'm totally against it. We're not making sneakers. We're not making cars. We are making children. We're making adults, and we're raising lives. And we cannot simply look at the profit motive or the expenditure list in public education in order to properly educate our children. Yes, we are financially strapped. And the recommendations that I'm giving you today do not require that you spend a single dollar more than you already have. In fact, you'll probably save money by following the above mentioned recommendations. We have to bring black men into the schools as teachers. We have to bring more black men into the school as principals. We have to bring more black men into the schools as social workers, counselors, and yes, school psychologists. We need more black men in the school district, period. Women do a good job. But unfortunately, many of our boys of all colors are raised exclusively by women. Women at home, women at school. They need some masculine energy. It is a basic psychological need. And when they don't get it, they rebel against the fact that they're being constantly inundated with feminine energy and without any masculine. This is a psychological reality, and we have to accept it. And we have to make sure that we balance the employee gender balance base of our schools. There should be men and there should be women. Obviously, the schools may always be dominated by women because traditionally education was a female-dominated trade, and that's fine. But we have to try to equalize. Even if we're not successful, we have to try to bring as many black men into the district as we possibly can, because to the extent that you bring caring, compassionate, committed black men into the district is to the extent that you're going to save our boys. I often argue that if we really want to cut down dropout, if we really want to cut down special ed referral, if we really want to cut down gang violence, truancy, and all types of delinquency, if we really want to cut down mass incarceration, fights, and expulsions, put a black male teacher in front of your 4th, 5th, and 6th grade black boys. Is that so difficult to do? There's teacher programs all across this country that bring in inexperienced teachers who are not certified to work in our schools. Why can't we do the same thing with black males? Let's stop making excuses. I'm sure you all care about our children, as do I, as do our parents. And we must seek to do what? Engage our parents, begin bringing the parents in, educate them if they're not educated. Let's stop blaming them for the failures of our children. They're partly responsible, but they're not primarily responsible. Parents are not trained on how to be educators. Our teachers are. And I am against anyone who's going to blame parents instead of teachers for the failure of our children. We all have a share of the blame to bear. So I would simply argue or ask that you think about what I said here today, that you begin to seriously consider enacting these recommendations into policy, not just promises, but actual policy and protocol to help reduce the problems that we have. Let's bring in the teachers. Let's build that mental giftedness, mental retardation task force. Let's make sure our high school students have jobs. Let's make sure they're all involved in pre-college programs. Let's make sure they all have access to industrial opportunity. Let's make sure our pre-referral academic and behavioral programs are effective. Let's make sure we have reading specialists, math specialists, writing specialists, and if we don't have them already working for us, let's free up some teachers who have not yet made up their minds that our children can't learn and let them be the academic intervention specialists. We can save our children. I would simply wish you the best as we come to the last final months of the current school year. I hope that we begin to work and to meet and to build and to plan and prioritize what needs to be done so that when our children come back for next school year, the 2012-2013 school year, they will leave us in a much better place than they found us. Thank you very much.